Hey, I'm Scott at ediblemusic.com. I want to talk to you if mixing a song takes multiple sessions, maybe several days, several weeks, and how to make those sessions more efficient so that you can speed up your process. Now, it's okay if it takes you a little while to mix a song. Maybe you don't have a lot of time, or maybe you're simultaneously learning how to use processing like EQ and compression or effects while you're mixing a song. So obviously that will slow the process a bit compared to if you were able to work more intuitively with these tools. But as you already know, it's certainly not ideal to take a long time to mix a song. It feels a lot better to finish a project and release it, doesn't it? And I have some advice on how to make your mixing sessions more efficient. The first one is to make notes. I use a little notebook like this, and you're going to note down three things at the end of every session. The first is what you accomplished in that section. The second is what is sounding great in the mix. And the third is what you'll work on next in the upcoming session that you're going to plan on. So, three things: what you accomplished in this session, what is sounding great in the mix, and what you're going to work on in the next session. This is a 30-second practice as well. You don't have to take copious amount of notes about it, but it's a way to help your brain the next time you sit down to mix. You can look at your notes and you can first reassure yourself that you got a lot done last time, and second, it will center your focus on what you need to do so that when you open up the project, you don't start just moving randomly around the project. It's important to be able to move with focus, even if you're working across multiple sessions. The second bit of advice is a little bit different, and I have to say, I don't like presentations on this platform with titles or thumbnails that shout at you to stop doing something or to avoid doing this because you're ruining your mixes. Those certainly they arrest your attention, so they're doing that part properly, but they don't actually help your brain to get into the proper position to learn something. You are instead reacting to that by cringing and going, oh, what am I doing wrong? Rather than, yes, what can I learn? With that said, there is one thing that I would like you to stop doing, and that is to stop bouncing your mixes when they're unfinished yet and listening to them outside of the studio. When you do that, you might say, well, this is when I make my notes. I listen to it and then I get a sense of what I want to work on next. But that's what step one was all about. And if you're doing that, how many times have you just kept on listening to it and listening to it, this unfinished mix that doesn't sound as good as you want it to, but you sort of become accustomed to it, and it actually starts to prevent you from getting back into the workstation and doing the work of finishing it and releasing it. When you get to listen to it, you might have a bit of a satisfaction about that, but the whole purpose of music is to share it. And bouncing an unfinished mix is going to prevent you from doing that because you're just going to start listening to it over and over again instead of limiting your only opportunity to listen to it to be within the workstation in the actual project so that you can make the progress that you need to make on it. So if I'm shouting stop, then I really mean it. I'm not just using it to arrest your attention. This is, I think, a really important thing to keep your focus on making progress as you're mixing. And coming back to the kinds of notes that you'll make, if you are able only to work in short stints, then whenever you do, it's good to have a bit of a self-reflection about how much you can accomplish in one session. For example, if you're working in short stints, what can you realistically get done in an hour? Certainly not everything, but not nothing either. So what do you think that you can get done? That will be what you identify for yourself as the next session that you'll be working on. If you move away from thinking about the mixing process as a complex jumble that is sort of overwhelming and instead chunk it out into different pieces, then you can narrow your focus each session only on the things that you need to accomplish right now. Sure, the rest of that will need to be finished as well and taken care of. But for the moment, for this session, all you have to worry about is the one step or the two steps that need to get done before you can move on to those. And this is what I try to help you with in the 5-Day Foundation. I would say, ideally, it would take you 2 days to finish a mix. 1 day to pretty much finish the whole thing, and then you sleep on it, and you check it the next day and make any final tweaks that you might need to. 2 days might sound like an impossible amount of time for you at the moment, but do you think you can do it in 5? Try it out.